This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 1551, Shaving Cuts. What's our default response? And On Mortality, both by Neghar Fonooni of negharfonooni.com. And I'm Justin Malik, your personal narrator, reading to you every day, including holidays, just like an audiobook, but free of charge, mostly from blogs, sometimes from books, and always with permission from the websites. Otherwise, it would be copyright infringement. And happy Tuesday to you. I have two posts for you today. Both are from Neghar Fonooni, regularly featured on my brother's podcast, Optimal Health Daily. Before we get to it, hiring is challenging, but there's one place you can go where hiring is simple, fast, and smart. That place is ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter sends your job to over 100 of the web's leading job sites, but they don't stop there. With their powerful matching technology, ZipRecruiter scans thousands of resumes to find people with the right experience and invite them to apply to your job. ZipRecruiter is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, to try ZipRecruiter for free, my listeners can go to ziprecruiter.com/old. That's ziprecruiter.com/OLD, ziprecruiter.com/old. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. For now, let's get right to today's two posts as we optimize your life. Shaving Cuts. What's our default response? By Neghar Fonooni of negharfonooni.com. The first time I shaved my legs, I was 11 years old. As a first-generation, full-blooded Persian American, body hair is something I am in no shortage of. As a kid, this was a huge emotional trigger for me. I was 11 and I had hairy legs that made me feel extremely insecure. Of all the things I got teased about in the 6th grade, this seemed like one I could tackle and shave off the list. Sadly, my mom wasn't around to help me with this kind of stuff, and I was way too embarrassed to ask my dad, so I took it upon myself to take this very major step in the life of a budding woman. But for whatever reason, I found myself irrationally freaked out after shaving one leg, so I didn't shave the other. For a full week while I waited for the leg to grow back its protective fur, I wouldn't dare bare my legs at school. Because I attended a private school, I wore a uniform for the first 9 years of my structured education, which usually meant plaid skirts and collared shirts. This was a bit of a dilemma for a girl trying to hide her legs. So I donned navy nylons underneath my uniform skirt, despite the characteristic SoCal warmth. Eventually, the hair grew back, and eventually I figured out how to shave my legs without feeling the need to leave the job unfinished. Since then, I've shaved my legs almost every day for over 20 years. So you can imagine my surprise last week when I cut myself shaving. As the blade grazed my left knee, taking a sizable chunk of skin, I couldn't help but laugh. What am I, 12? Is it 1994? But when I got out of the shower, something interesting happened. I knew exactly what to do. It's been at least 15 years, probably more, since I've cut myself shaving, yet I still knew exactly how to handle it. I toweled off and quickly placed a small piece of tissue on the cut to help it clot. While the bleeding slowed, I took care of the rest of post-shower duties, later removing the tissue at the exact right time and replacing it with a Band-Aid. I didn't have to think about how to handle a shaving cut, and it's been over a decade since I've done so. But even though it's been years and years, there was a solid period of time when I suffered from shaving cuts almost weekly. I was young and shaving was foreign, and I have the scars to prove it. So yes, quite some time has passed, but the experience I built up all those years ago was so deeply ingrained in me that it was easy to manage. This is what I like to call the default mode. People often ask me, Neg, how do you get to the point where you don't take things personally, are able to handle change without freaking out, don't let your body fat define you, can miss a training session or eat a cookie without hating yourself for it, don't react out of an emotionally heightened state, can handle emotional stress without falling apart, and so on? And the answer is always the same. We change the default mode. We practice and practice and practice, and after tons of consistent and focused practice, we change our default mode. It doesn't happen overnight. I had great difficulty with shaving cuts for probably the first few years I shaved my legs, but over time, with diligence, your default mode molds to your behavior. So by the time the hits the fan or you cut yourself shaving, you've put in hours, maybe even years of practice. Suddenly you know exactly what to do, and it all falls into place. That's why we do this work, why we practice gratitude, why we journal and read, why we work on developing authenticity, vulnerability, and courage in everyday scenarios, to change the default mode. It might not seem like anything is happening, but I guarantee you it is. It's subtle and cumulative, but the default mode is growing and transforming with each moment of practice. If you're on this journey of self-development and exploration, hang in there and trust the process. One day you'll cut yourself shaving and think, all that work paid off. The default mode is changing every second as long as we commit to the work with trust and authenticity. All we have to do is remain consistent and trust the process. I have another post for you, but really quick, thank you again to ZipRecruiter. Hiring is challenging, but there's one place you can go where hiring is simple, fast, and smart. A place where growing businesses connect to qualified candidates. That place is ziprecruiter.com/old. ZipRecruiter sends your job to over 100 of the web's leading job sites, but they don't stop there. With their powerful matching technology, ZipRecruiter scans thousands of resumes to find people with the right experience and invite them to apply to your job. You can even add screening questions to your job listing so you can filter candidates and focus on the best ones. ZipRecruiter is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, to try ZipRecruiter for free, my listeners can go to ziprecruiter.com/old. That's ziprecruiter.com/OLD, ziprecruiter.com/old. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. On Mortality by Neghar Fonooni of negharfonooni.com. In my bones, I know this body will live but once. This thought with great potential to produce worry and angst crosses my mind at least once a day. But contrary to its seeming morbidity, it propels me to be easy, be present, be fully engaged and speak my truth, to stay rooted in my values and my power, to channel energy into that which truly matters and check myself when I'm doing otherwise, to use that energy to fight the capital F fight, to let go of habitual worry, of shoulds and supposed tos, of imposter syndrome, of mindless consumption, of anything that dims my light, of anything that distracts me from my soul's purpose, of anything that doesn't set my soul ablaze. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow, but I promise to see you right now. You just listened to the posts titled Shaving Cuts, What's Our Default Response? And On Mortality, both by Neghar Fonooni of negharfonooni.com. Speaking of shaving cuts, when I was traveling recently, I put my razor in one of those big Ziploc bags, and with a bunch of other stuff in it. I reached in the bag, my knuckle went right into the razor. It's not smart, don't do that. Just a quick random tip of the day for you. Anyway, that'll do it for today. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.